The small bakery on Maple Street had seen better days. Its pink and white striped awning was faded, and the bell above the door chimed with a tired jingle whenever someone entered. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and the power of small moments to change lives, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to Kindness True Stories. Also, tell us in the comments where in the world are you watching from. But for little Emma Rodriguez, it was the most magical place in the world. Every day after her physical therapy sessions, her mother Maria would wheel her past the bakery's display window, and Emma would press her nose against the glass, gazing at the colorful cakes decorated with roses, butterflies, and sometimes even little toy figures on top. Today was different, though. Today was Emma's 10th birthday, and for the first time in her life, she had saved enough money to buy a cake of her very own. The crumpled dollar bills and loose change she had collected from helping her mother fold laundry. From the coins her abuela slipped into her palm when no one was looking, and from the small allowance her mother managed to give her despite their tight budget, all amounted to exactly $3.17. Maria pushed the wheelchair through the bakery door, her heart heavy with the knowledge that $3 wouldn't buy much of a birthday cake. But she forced a smile for her daughter. Emma's eyes sparkled with excitement as she looked at the glass display cases, filled with elaborate cakes, cupcakes topped with swirls of frosting, and cookies decorated like works of art. Behind the counter stood Mrs. Chen, the elderly baker who had owned the shop for 30 years. She smiled warmly at Emma and Maria, recognizing them from their many window shopping visits. "Hello, dear. What can I get for you today?" Mrs. Chen asked gently. Emma's small voice trembled with excitement as she said, "It's my birthday today and I saved money for a cake. I have $3. She clutched the money in her small fist, her paralyzed legs motionless in the wheelchair, but her upper body leaning forward with anticipation. Mrs. Chen's expression softened, a mixture of tenderness and sadness crossing her weathered face. She knew $3 wouldn't cover even the smallest cake in her shop. But she couldn't bear to disappoint this brave little girl on her birthday. Before she could respond, a deep voice spoke from behind them. "Excuse me, but I couldn't help overhearing. It's your birthday, young lady?" Emma turned her wheelchair slightly to see a tall man in his mid-30s, wearing a worn but clean flannel shirt and jeans with patches on the knees. His face was kind, with tired lines around his eyes that spoke of long working hours and many responsibilities. This was Marcus Thompson, a construction worker and single father, who had come to the bakery to pick up bread for his 2 sons' lunches. Emma nodded shyly, her cheeks flushing pink. "Yes, sir. I'm 10 years old today." Marcus crouched down to Emma's eye level, his own eyes glistening with emotion. He saw in her something that reminded him of his own struggles, of the times when he had to explain to his boys why they couldn't have certain things, why birthday parties had to be small, why wishes sometimes had to wait. But he also saw her pure joy, her determination, and the love between her and her mother that needed no words. 10 years old is a very special age, Marcus said softly. "You know what? I think a girl who saves her own money for her birthday cake deserves something really special." He stood and approached Mrs. Chen at the counter. "Ma'am, I'd like to buy this young lady the birthday cake of her choice. Whatever she wants. The biggest, the prettiest, the most delicious one you have." Maria's eyes immediately filled with tears, and she reached out to touch Marcus's arm. "No, sir, we couldn't possibly accept. You don't even know us." Marcus turned to her with a gentle smile that somehow made his tired face look younger. "I'm a single dad myself. I know what it's like to stretch every dollar, to wish you could give your children everything they dream of. Please, let me do this." "It would be an honor." Emma's small hands flew to her mouth and tears of joy streamed down her face. She had never imagined that a stranger could be so kind, that her birthday wish could actually come true in such an unexpected way. Mrs. Chen, who had witnessed this entire exchange, was also wiping her eyes with the corner of her apron. "Come here, sweetheart," Mrs. Chen said to Emma. "Let's pick out the most beautiful cake for your birthday." Emma wheeled herself closer to the display case, her eyes scanning over the options with wonder. There was a chocolate cake with pink roses, a vanilla cake with rainbow sprinkles, a strawberry cake with fresh berries on top, and then she saw it, a stunning 2-layer cake, decorated with purple and white frosting, with delicate sugar butterflies dancing across its surface. "That one," Emma whispered, pointing with a trembling finger. "The one with the butterflies. My mama always says I'm her little butterfly because even though I can't use my legs, I can still fly in my dreams." There wasn't a dry eye in the bakery. Mrs. Chen carefully boxed the cake, while Marcus paid for it, adding extra for candles and matches. But he didn't stop there. He also purchased a loaf of bread, some cookies, and a few cupcakes, and asked Mrs. Chen to add them to Emma's box. "For you and your family to enjoy," he said to Maria. "Every birthday should have plenty of treats." As Maria tried to find words to express her gratitude, Marcus knelt down once more beside Emma's wheelchair. "Can I tell you something, Emma? I have 2 boys at home, ages 7 and 9. Their mother passed away 3 years ago from cancer, and there have been many times when I felt like giving up, when I wondered how I would provide for them, how I would be both mom and dad. But kids like you, kids who face challenges every single day, with a smile and who save their own money for a birthday cake, you remind me why we keep going, why we keep trying, why kindness matters." Emma reached out and took Marcus's rough, calloused hand in her small one. "Thank you for making my birthday the best one ever. I'll never forget you." Marcus stood, shaking his head as if to clear the emotion, and turned to leave. But Maria called out to him. "Please, sir, what's your name?" "How can we ever repay you?" "Marcus Thompson," he replied. "And you don't owe me anything. Just promise me that when Emma grows up and has the chance to help someone else, she'll remember this moment and pay it forward. That's all the repayment I need." With that, Marcus left the bakery, the bell chiming as the door closed behind him. Mrs. Chen, still moved by what she had witnessed, leaned over the counter and said to Maria, "You know what? The bread and cookies and cupcakes he bought, those are on the house. Consider it my birthday gift to Emma." That evening, Emma celebrated her 10th birthday, surrounded by her mother, her abuela, her 2 younger cousins, and a few neighbors from their apartment building. The butterfly cake sat in the center of their small kitchen table, looking far more magnificent than anything Emma had ever imagined owning. As they sang happy birthday and Emma closed her eyes to make a wish before blowing out the candles. She didn't wish for the ability to walk or for a bigger house or for expensive toys. Instead, she wished that Marcus and his 2 boys would be happy, that kind people like him would always exist in the world, and that one day she would be able to help someone else the way he had helped her. Years would pass, and Emma would indeed keep that promise. She would grow up to become a social worker, dedicating her life to helping families in need, always remembering the day a single dad with patches on his jeans taught her that the greatest gifts in life aren't measured in dollars, but in moments of human kindness, in the courage to help a stranger, and in the willingness to make someone else's dream come true. Even when you have struggles of your own, the memory of that butterfly cake and the man who made it possible would stay with Emma forever, a reminder that angels don't always have wings. Sometimes they just have kind hearts and $3. Worth of courage to show a little girl that the world is full of goodness if you know where to look. If this story touched your heart, please like, share, and subscribe to Kindness True Stories. Your support helps us share more inspiring tales of compassion and humanity. Let's spread kindness together, one story at a time.